Welcome to Listen with EquiTeam. Hi everyone, I'm Liz Daniels, and today I'm joined by founder of clothing company Cuddlr, Mike Westwood. Welcome to the show, Mike.
Hi Liz, thanks so much for having me on.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Mike, your fleece-lined trousers have been recommended so many times in the EquiTeam group that we thought, do you know what? Let's just go straight to the horse's mouth and find out more about you, about the products, and where it all began. So, yeah, welcome, Mike. Can you give us a bit of history about yourself before we get into the nitty-gritty of
Sure.
your
Yeah,
side hustle?
I love the pun as well, horse's mouth. Very well done there. Cool. So a little bit about me. Hi everybody, my name's Mike, and I am the founder of Cuddlr, and the brand has been going now for about probably 2 years. Started in October 2023. But before that, I actually had two little side hustles, we'll call it, that we're doing like balloon decor, neon sign renting for like parties and things like that. But I had a young family on the way, and Friday, Saturday, Sunday, picking up, dropping off just wasn't viable, and I needed something else to kind of, I don't know, tickle my entrepreneurial drive, I guess. So I looked into brand building, and yeah, long story short, Cuddler was born, and the event decor stuff was kind of shut down and sold off to another balloon artist. But um, yeah, ever since then I've been building Cuddler on the side with having a full-time job, and it's just in April this year that I left my full-time job to focus on Cuddler 100% as a business owner in the UK, basically.
And the trousers were the initial product, which we'll come on to more, but they were born from a fact that you hated being cold when you were fishing. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So I was just simply scrolling on Facebook, and I saw a similar product, and I thought I would actually wear them for fishing, because you do get very cold when you're fishing, especially in the winter. You can just be sat there for hours, and the benefit of our trousers is the thick fleece under the kind of weatherproof outer, so no wind gets in, the rain is repelled, and you stay nice and warm. And I guess when I saw them, I thought, oh, they're great. Them you couldn't actually buy them in the UK where I'd been targeted by a Facebook ad, and I just kind of went down a rabbit hole at that point. But it wasn't my first product that I tried to start a brand on. It was my third one, but I was determined not to give up basically, and um, I guess to snowball into equestrianism. I know we spoke about that word last time. I don't know if it exists or not, but I'm going to roll with it. I just simply tested that simply because my mum has a horse. I've got no other affiliation with horses, but my mum's had one for like 35 years or so. So the horse is an old girl now, but I know my mum's always freezing, and she swears by them. And it's just kind of snowballed from there into pushing kind of my marketing towards equestrians. And there's clearly a need in the market for not just kind of waterproof or weatherproof garments, but stuff that actually keeps you warm.
Yeah.
You might be mucking out and probably getting a bit of a sweat on, but sometimes you are just leading the horse out, taking you know picking up the poo in the fields, that sort of stuff, and you need to stay warm, and that's what we aim to achieve.
Yeah, I think it's so true. From a coaching perspective, it's not dissimilar to fishing, where actually you're standing for long periods of time in an arena, and even though you're moving around, you're not moving around at speed to generate, heat. And when you ride
Yeah.
and things like that, if you're having a schooling session, but if you're hacking out, for example, you're not, building that kind of body heat to keep you warm. And oh my God, it gets so cold. I hate being cold.
Do you
I
know what?
see.
Years ago, when I was probably, I don't know, I might have been 14 or so, and my mum had just got the horse. She, in Manchester where I live, there was a stables, and it had an arena in there, and we used to do lessons, and I must have had maybe two or three, and it wasn't for me, but I just vividly remember it being absolutely freezing. So I've got those kind of childhood memories there of horses specifically.
Damaged
Yeah,
childhood memories.
that's it. Yeah.
I've got one quick question before we move on. What were the two products that you failed at?
Oh, so the first one was a baby bottle cleaner that was a USB rechargeable thing. So the bottles with the teats on the end.
Yeah.
So you basically put the uh, instrument into the end of the teat, and it would clean the end with a silicone ending. Um, because I'm a bit of a kind of a helicopter dad, and I need everything to be clean, or I'm like, oh, that's a danger. This is a danger. So I needed to make sure that everything was really really clean. But yeah, that product failed, probably for obvious reasons because you can just brush it with your finger.
And what
And
was
then
the second
the
product?
second one was a dog bed cover. So these products sound odd, but there's a reason why people like me try these products. It's because you can see social proof online. So if people are, it looks like people are buying, people are commenting on them. Well, there's a market there. So how can we take advantage of that, basically?
Yeah, I love the entrepreneurial stuff, which I want to chat about more. So you had the trousers and you had a prototype, and when we spoke before, I'd never even considered this. That actually, the trousers were designed and built for a very different market, a different group of people. So you had the trousers, but you realized quite early on that actually it wasn't, you needed to make some changes to make it the best that it could be. Can you talk us through those
Yeah,
and how that kind of manifested?
sure. I mean, it was a bit of a nightmare at the beginning, but the product that I initially had, that my products are manufactured in China. I'm not afraid to say that. A lot of people are, and a lot of people don't actually like the fact that things are made in China. But the reality is, they are the best in the game at making clothing, and there's nothing else to be said about that. So I'm proud that I work with Chinese manufacturers. However, when I first started, the product I had was an off-the-shelf product. And the issue with that is they are made for Asian people. So they are very small sizes because generally Asians are smaller in frame and also in height. So what was happening was they just didn't fit people from the US and the UK, and I ended up losing a lot of money because people wanted the money back for obvious reasons. A lot of people don't read size charts as well, which is another issue, but nonetheless, I knew that this product had legs, uh, literally.
That's a pun in that.
Yeah, because of the validation of the sales and things like that, and I thought I just have to make this work. So I enlisted the help of a fashion designer. Um, her name is Beth, and I've been working with her for 2 years. And the great thing about Beth is she's not only a fashion designer, but she's also got a horse as well. So she has worked in the equestrian market for a long time in terms of designing clothing for some big brands and stuff. And we worked together to design not just equestrian clothing, but clothing for everyday life, but equestrians can use them to keep them warm. But the key thing here was we introduced the sizing for the Western world, basically. So proper UK sizing, which includes a 34-inch inside leg, and we get so many comments saying it's daft. And I can never find anything to fit me. I'm a tall girl or I'm a tall bloke, and I can't find anything with long legs. You know, what I aim to do as a business owner is listen to the community and adapt my products to suit what the market wants. And tall sizes was one of those. And we're now introducing, like, we've just introduced an extra, extra small. We've introduced an extra, extra, extra large. And there's still people crying out for more sizes. And I'm happy to trial those kind of to the world and see how it goes, you know? So yeah, that was the main challenge really is the amount of returns and kind of a funny story was that I previously got all my returns to my house and my front living room was just full of parcels. My wife was going mad, but a friend of mine, we've got like a local group where I live in Manchester, and somebody had put a picture of my porch full and stacked with parcels because their parcel had got mixed up with mine, and the proof of delivery was my porch, and it just looked ridiculous because it was stacked with parcels. And my friends saw that and they were like, "This is your house, this is your house." I was like, "Yeah, it's mine." And yeah, long story short, I got a lot of returns and we fixed that issue now to a degree, but we still get exchanges, we still get refunds because they're not for everybody, but we acknowledge that.
And did at the point when you're like, oh my God, like I'm losing money, did you think at any point, right, I'm done? Or were you so invested in that journey that you were like, right, come on, I believe so much in this product and need to make it better?
Yeah, I think I just have this mindset that it had to work. and I could, like I said, I saw validation. I was prepared to lose a little bit more money, but there needs to come a time where you have to physically say, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
But uh, thankfully, it just clicked once I fixed all these issues. So if I was to say anything to anybody, don't give up. Like if you can see something that needs a solution, fix the problem, and hopefully that should rectify your issues and just keep going basically and don't give up. That's kind of my mantra. Don't give up, just keep going. And I'm so glad I didn't give up because it's been able to help me change my life in terms of my family flexibility and being able to build this myself and have a team around me. And it's not as hard as people think. If you've got an idea, you know, write it down, use ChatGPT, these AI tools that we've got now are so great for helping you bring that idea to life and tell you what the next steps are. It's anybody's kind of chance to go out there and make something.
It's so inspiring. I loved when we chatted previously, and that's what came through is this passion, this drive, this like fire that has just been ignited. That like, yeah, I can, and you want to, help others do that. And you touched on AI, which a lot of people, shy away from. How did that help you build your business? What elements of that did you use?
Pretty much everything, Liz, to be fair, like the brand name, the colors. It even helps me now writing code for my Shopify store. So if I want something on my front end of my website, I'll ask it to build me something called liquid code, and it will literally spit out the code. I paste it in, and it's giving me what I want within 10 minutes. So it allows you to adapt really, really quickly. Um, Additionally to that, we we kind of help our ads to draw in viewers because the whole thing with like marketing and at least Facebook ads is how do you grab somebody's attention, right? Because there's so much stuff on people's feeds. You want to be the person that's hooking them in. So some things I've experimented with this year are AI videos. And as an example, I have one where there's a lady encased in a block of ice, and she's literally looking down, and the AI video is just scrolling up, and the whole script around that ad is, if this is you at the farm and your legs are feeling like they're in a blocks of ice, you need, X, Y, and
Yeah.
Z. So it's things like that that are kind of interrupting the pattern on people's feed to say, oh, what the hell's that? They watch the video, they see the product, and they move on to hopefully purchasing. So AI is helping a ton with, business owners like me to be able to move quickly and just try new things, basically.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of it, isn't it? It's the trying new things and the ability to, get that information quickly. Like you say with the code, that, for example, would take somebody hours to write that and to perfect it and things. Whereas, yeah, it's scary, but but when it's used correctly, like the world is literally your oyster, isn't it, with it?
Oh, 100%. And it does make me laugh because you do see people, moaning about AI and this, that, and the other, but the world is changing, specifically with technology. You've got to embrace it or be left behind. And that's what I'm doing, and I'm not afraid to use AI. It works in everyday life.
Well, clearly it
Um,
has worked really well for you because, as you mentioned before, it has led to you to being able to leave your full-time role behind, which is obviously giving you a bit more freedom, flexibility, a bit more of a work-life balance, I'm assuming, being a bit more flexible for kids and things like that. Was that a big decision, or were you at a point
it
where you're
was
like, this
it
is
was a massive
exactly
decision because at the previous business I was in, I'd worked for that owner for like 15 years. So I was head of professional services of a HR and payroll technology company, and I'd worked with him across two different businesses, and it was massive for me to step off the edge of the cliff basically and take that risk because it sounds a bit odd, but he's all I ever knew. Do you know what I mean? And that company and him was my comfort blanket for so long that I needed to trust in myself and trust what I'd built to kind of step off that cliff and give it a go myself, or I would never know, you know. And that's what I did in well, it was actually Christmas time last year, and he said to me, he's because they were very supportive with entrepreneurship because he's an entrepreneur himself, and he said, look, Mike, you're building something really great here, because obviously I was speaking to him about it, and he said, if you were my mate outside of this company, even though he's my friend, he'd be saying, "What the hell are you doing still here?" And I was kind of like, "Are you trying to push me out here, or are you actually being supportive?" So I was a bit thingy over the last Christmas period, but I thought to myself, you know what, I've just got to go for it, and yeah, here we are today, and I'm glad I did because previously I was working. You know, the kids had gone to bed, we've had our tea, my wife's watching something on TV, I'd be in the office working on this brand, and it takes up a lot of time. You know, you've got to invest time outside of your normal routine to be able to build something, as I'm sure you know yourself, you know, with the two businesses you've got. So now it allows me to focus on the actual brand on a normal job, like a 9 to 5. I mean, it's never really a 9 to 5 because you're responding to customers at night time if there's an issue and things like that. But the work-life balance is so much better. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, it's nice when you've got a young family as well. It sounds a bit deep for, a podcast, but you never get that time back with kids. You'll never see the first time they scored, I don't know, a goal at football or a try at rugby, or you miss out on so much, and you have to provide. It's a balance that I think is so tricky, and so many people understandably struggle with, because you have to provide, you have to be able to afford to buy the football boots or the rugby boots, or
Yeah, yeah.
provide the pony. But then if you're missing out on all the like firsts of things, and the wins, and the lows when they need, as well, you're like, oh, it's a tricky balance, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. You know, there was nativity plays last week. I was just, yeah, I can come, not a problem,
Mm.
because I'm the boss. I can just do whatever I want kind of thing, which is great. So yeah, it gives you so much flexibility. It's
So
it's
funny
it's
you should
amazing,
say
really.
that. That was the final straw for me taking the leap. Is I couldn't get time off to go and watch a nativity, and from an employed position that was a part-time employed position. But again, like you, I'd been there for years and years and years, and I was so invested and and I always went above and beyond. And I was like, actually, no, this is not
Yeah,
okay. Like,
yeah.
that was my push to take, to take a bit of a leap. But yeah, it's so nice when you can do. And I suppose with that, like, you've given a bit of advice, but there'll be lots of questions. We've all got great ideas, and there's lots of creative people out there. What advice would you give for people to that have got this idea that's bubbling around in the head, and but they just maybe not got the time, or they're just not brave enough, or they just don't feel experienced enough? What would your advice be?
Well, I think one of the words you just said there is you've not got the time. You have to make the time. Like if you want to be successful, you have to make the time to bring this idea to life. But I would basically say if you've got an idea or you've got a dream, give it a go. What's the worst that can happen? And there's so many tools online that can help you build brands, learn about Facebook ads, learn about creating ads, build about website. You know, there's so much accessibility to everybody on the internet these days. Like there really is no excuse if you look in the right places. So if you do have an idea, get it down on paper, use ChatGPT, start to form something. And an example I've actually got for you is I worked with a girl last year, actually, she's called Amber, and she did a lot of my user-generated content. So a lot of her you will see in my ads. And she introduced a product just a few weeks back. I won't go into the details exactly because she's still kind of formulating it, but she had an idea. Her and her mum have worked on it together. They've got a product, and now she's building the website, and she's going to start to do Facebook ads. And I spoke to her last week to give something back to her basically because she's helped me in the past. So we talked about Meta ads, which is Facebook, building Shopify sites. So she's somebody that's very much been in a similar position that you're talking about, and she's an equestrian and she's identified a gap in the market for something and she's moving forward with it. So yeah, if you've got a great idea, move forward with it. What's the worst that can happen?
And I think as well, for me, authenticity is so important. Like, we've built our brand on being authentic. And when we spoke before, Mike, it was really clear that actually that's what you want your brand to be, the best it possibly can be. You want people to recommend it, which is exactly what's happened, which has led to, this podcast happening, and
Yeah.
working with authentic people, you said about using AI to generate like the ice block, which is funny and it's attention drawing, but there's so much of your content which is genuine, authentic people. So someone that we both know, Francesca, she is somebody that really, she's a groom, a top level groom. She absolutely swears by the product. So it's important for me that a product's authentic. When I'm looking at purchasing, and
Yeah,
presumably from your point of view, it's really important that you have other people to generate the content as well, that people know, like it's that recommendation, isn't it? That word of mouth kind of thing that's so important to drive traffic.
100%. And my Trustpilot reviews, like my target this year was to get like 500, five-star reviews, for example. And I think we're at like nearly 900. And that's just, real genuine people going on there from all over the world, it's just spouting about my product, which is such a great feeling as a business owner to say, as weird as it sounds, I'm changing people's lives. Um, Not so much in the equestrian world, perhaps, but there's people that I sell to that are like maybe wheelchair bound and they, get really cold easy because they're not moving. Or actually, when we're just talking about Francesca, being a groom, she got chilblains quite a lot. And actually, we connected because she'd messaged me last year just randomly on Instagram saying how much she loved my trousers. And when I kind of Googled using ChatGPT, actually, I didn't Google ChatGPT chilblains. It brought up a blog post by Francesca on the British Groomers Association, and I was like, oh my God, like somebody is gone out of their way to mention my product. And anyway, we connected, and yeah, I went down to see her. We've done some filming and stuff, so you will also see Francesca in a few ads as well. So yeah, it's important to have that authenticity.
It's so funny we how people connect. So I used to work for the British Groomers Association, known Fran for years, and it's
Yeah,
funny, isn't it, how like everyone's linked in the equestrian
definitely.
industry somewhere. Mike, it's quite scary, but I have got, which we do on all our podcasts, if that's okay, a few quick fire questions. So the
Oh
first
gosh,
thing,
right.
Mike looks really worried now. The first thing that comes into your head, they're not hard, but we'll just fire them off. Are you ready?
Yep.
What is the one item you can't live without?
My phone probably, which is sad to say.
Everything's on the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's been your biggest lesson learned?
Oh, biggest lesson learned, well, especially in this business, is uh, put extra time on everything. Let's say, an example, stock was supposed to come in last week. It got delayed. It got sent to a different site. I was telling customers your items are going to be here by last Friday. It didn't turn up, and it's now being sent this week. So, uh, yeah, add extra time to things.
Yeah. And who's been your biggest inspiration?
Probably my old boss, probably.
Yeah.
Well,
He sounds like a really supportive guy. Like that takes a lot of balls for him to say, right, come on, Matt, it's the time, off you go, like go and
yeah,
fly
well,
the
there was
nest.
there wasn't just one. There was two. There was the brand owner, and then there was my actual boss as well. So between the two of them, very much a supportive leadership team for sure.
And this is a bit of a random question because we might not know. So if you go think, yeah, think outside the box, but if you were to host a dinner party, who would be around your table?
Uh, oh God, I don't know. Tupac Shakur.
I thought you might. I was like, oh, I bet he's going to come out with something like Richard Branson or someone
No,
that's,
not at all. I don't know why I
no,
said that. It's probably because I've been watching the Diddy documentary on Netflix, if you've seen that. And I used to like Tupac. Do you know who Tupac is?
yeah, I'm not that old. Yeah.
Right, okay. Well, when I said that, you looked a bit blank, like.
No, it was just the most random dinner answer that I think we've had, but we'll go with it. I think that's quite cool.
When you always say that, people say, "What, dead or alive?" So I don't know why I had dead in my mind. So
Yeah, no, I've on my list, there was two people that are dead, and yeah, I think that's okay to kind of, yeah, you'd get some interesting stories anyway, that's for sure.
defo.
And finally, Mike, where can people find out more about your products? Because we should have mentioned before, as well as the trousers, you've branched out into lots of different. You can basically now dress head to foot and be warm from the top of your head right down to your toes.
Yeah,
You've got other products that you've added to the range, haven't you? Do you want to tell us a little bit about them and then where people can find you?
yes. We do jackets, which include a detachable hood, detachable arms, so it turns into a gilet. Uses the same fabric, same fleece on the inside. We've got knee-length socks as well. We've got a reflective beanie hat, so in low light situations at the yard and stuff, the light just beacons off. We've actually called it the beacon. And we have weatherproof or water repellent gloves as well with a small fleece lining. And actually, I'm wearing something I'm going to bring out next year. This is a double fleeced hoodie. So it's very minimalistic in terms of its branding. It's just got Cuddlr down the bottom here, but it's very thick. It's very cozy and warm. And I think possibly next year we're also going to bring out some ankle boots with fleece lining in as well.
Oh.
Because I've seen people crying out for those. And like I said before, Liz, like if I see somebody asking for something, I'm not afraid to adapt and create a product to help, the community.
It's
So
so funny. Yeah, you said that. So we're asking about recommendations for like yard boots, which are like ankle kind of boots. And over the years, I've used so many, and actually, my go-to one now are the ones that are fleecy lined because they're warm and they're comfy.
yeah,
So yeah, I look forward very much to that product because there's nothing worse than cold toes, is there? It's just
no.
miserable.
Well, I'll send you a pair when we've developed them.
I'll give you honest feedback about them because my boots are so well tested. They're poor things. They like literally are just always on my feet, getting
Are
muddy
they?
and filthy. And
Good.
where can people find you online,
Sorry,
Mike?
that's the main thing, right? Cuddlr.co.uk. That's cuddlr.co.uk. And you can have a look on there, see what we've got, and reach out if you've got any questions. We're always available to help. And yeah, thanks
And we're
so
very
much.
excited that for our members, we also have a discount code, which is very generous of you, and we will share that within our membership group as well. So thank you so much, Mike. That's just been absolutely fascinating to learn a little bit more behind the scenes about a brand, and a successful brand and one that, as I say, it's authentic, and we're very happy to be aligned with after all the amazing reviews that people gave unprompted within EquiTeam. So thank you very much for your time and joining us.
No, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate being on and yeah, have a lovely day.
Yeah, have a super day, everybody. And don't forget you can find out more about EquiTeam at equiteam.co.uk. Bye everyone.
Cheers, Liz. Bye.